Hello everyone, my name is David and this is Monetary Ocean, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the Scout function of ScoutIQ. So this is the dashboard when you first sign into the app. Once you get it all paid for and signed in, then you're going to go to the Scout function to go ahead and start scanning. So we're greeted here with a nice and blank screen. So it basically is telling you to go ahead and scan something. So you have two options. You can either use the camera on your phone, or you can connect a Bluetooth wireless scanner and go ahead and scan from that. I don't have any Bluetooth scanner available right now, so I'm just going to use the camera on my phone. When you click the orange button, you're greeted with three different scanning options. The first one is a pretty much basic one. It is a barcode scanner. The next one over is an ISBN scanner, and the last one is a title lookup. So the title lookup works simply like this, where you try to scan the cover of the book and it will do its best to figure out which book that is. So in this case, it was unable to figure out what the book was. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The technology is improving over time, so sometimes, you just have to go into the book and type it in. But in this case, we're going to have to go to a different option. So let's go ahead and take a look at this ISBN option, which pretty much just means you're going to scan the ISBN. So I was able to scan the barcode in that case, but I want to do the ISBN. So we got the price tag blocking it just a little bit. If we move it, there we go. So that pretty much allows you to scan books that only have an ISBN written on the back. Sometimes, depending on the font, you aren't able to scan it. It has difficulties. So sometimes you will still have to type it in, but this helps alleviate some of the time spent typing in every single ISBN or, typing those in. You can also do it from directly inside the book as well. So let's go ahead and look at some of this data that we're presented with. So if we want to start at the top here, we see something big and green. It says accept. So this pretty much means, go ahead and buy this book. Starting on the left, we can see the profit, and this is via FBA. If you go ahead and click on it, you can change this between fulfilled by Amazon and merchant fulfilled. And all these orange boxes or orange bubbles, you're able to adjust the numbers inside of them. So the list price is what the actual book is going to be sold for. The buy cost is what you're paying for the book. So this can be modified directly, so $1. And then it shows you a breakdown of all the fees and estimated inventory fees. So it gives you a ballpark. This book is selling so fast, and this is what we assume everything's going to cost when it's all said and done once the book is sold. And then you have the inbound shipping. So I go ahead and leave this. These are default numbers, the 25 cents per pound. It's just about what I'm ending up paying, so I just go ahead and leave everything as is. Going back now, we can go down one bar and we see the rank and the e-score. So the rank of this book currently is 596,000, so that's just the BSR from Amazon, just pulled directly. This is actually in live scouting mode. We can get into that later, but this is pretty much pulling a live version of the listing. So going over from that, we have the e-score, and so this is a proprietary system created by the ScoutIQ team, more specifically Caleb Roth, the book flipper on Instagram. And so this is a rating out of 180 days. So this basically means e-score of 28 means there have been 28 sales in the past 180 days, or about 6 months. And so this gives you kind of like an at-a-glance, buying decision of, does it have a high e-score? Is it selling often, or is it not? So if you're looking for books that have a higher profit, sometimes older books, they're moving slower, they'll have a lower e-score, but on the other hand, they have much more profit potential. So this actually only goes up to 151 plus instead of going to 180, but seeing that it's 151 plus means this book is selling every single day consistently. That is a very, very good indicator that you should buy the book if the numbers look right, if the profit looks right with your buy costs. So let's go down one more line here. We've got the used and new. So we've got 26 used listings and 14 new. So we can go ahead and click on these, and it will pull up the actual Amazon product listing with all the other listings from other sellers. So you can see these are just the used ones. It looks like there are no FBA listings on this first page. Let's keep going. And there we go. Oh, we have our first FBA listing there on page 2 for about $17.58, and then it kind of goes up from there. So let's go ahead and go back, and we can see actually, wait, there's no FBA listing here in that column, and that is because it's on the second page. So this is pretty much pulling, it's not 100%, but it is usually just pulling everything off the first page. So if you see nothing in the FBA category or column, and you see only things in the used or the merchant fulfilled column, then that means either one, there are no used listings or that are FBA, or they're not on the first page. But we can also tell that they have FBA listings by this button that's highlighted right here that says used buy box 1759 or 58. So that is pulling the actual prime, because usually when the buy box goes for used or new, it's pulling off of prime. So we can see, okay, that this is one of those FBA listings, and we can tell, you know, it's selling FBA and there are actual competitive listings. And then it's the same thing for new. So we have the new buy box, and then we have Amazon. So Amazon usually, if they're in stock, they're having the buy box. So you always want to price under Amazon. And if the price that is already selected is under Amazon, then it'll go ahead and highlight that. Or if it's over Amazon's price, then it will go ahead and highlight Amazon's buy box price, because like I just said, you don't want to compete with Amazon's price because they will eat you alive. And if we go down one more row, we can see 5 different buttons. So starting on the left, we have Keepa, and so that is a sales chart to kind of look at sales history and different metrics. We have Camel, which does pretty much the same thing. We have Live Search, which if you go ahead and click that, it will do a auto live search of the book, and you can see direct information. This is if you're doing like a database search, or it has database functionality, or you don't know how old that listing is, so or the information is, you can go ahead and just click live and it'll go ahead and repull that. Then we have the book scouter, and so I don't have any situation with this, so I don't really use this program too much, but it does show you the different vendors, what the different websites are selling this book for. And then we also have this Amazon button right here, which allows you to see all the actual FBA listings for this book. And so then all the way at the very bottom, we see the book itself. The Lean CEO is what it's called, and we can see the weight of the book. We can see the fact that it is, yes, a book. If it were a different piece of media like a DVD, CD, it would specify right there. And then it also has the ISBN right next to it, so that you can see, what it actually is. So if we go ahead and swipe over, we can see a different view of what we just saw before. So this is on more of a bar graph layout, so it shows you in order basically all the things that we just talked about. It shows you the score, it shows you the rank, the score, the lowest used price, and so on and so forth. If you go all the way over, this is actually a pretty cool feature that tracks all the scans you've ever done. Both for, it's kind of like a trip counter, and it also has a lifetime. So the lifetime stuff is at the bottom, so you can see I've scanned 22,518 items. That number is not 100% correct, because sometimes you double scan, and I've made this video, so that's just an extra scan that is not being effective. So that number is just kind of like a ballpark figure of how many scans have you done with this app, just to kind of pad your confidence. And you can do this trip counter, go ahead and reset that to 0. And so similar to what I just said, if you're going over your books and you're rescanning them, it will go into this scan tracker. So when I'm going through my books, I always try to just scan them one time if I'm trying to get an estimate of what my profits are going to be from like a book sale or like a sourcing trip. Then I'll go ahead and do this and be very sure not to rescan books.